Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Bestie Chat with Jessica Horton. I believe this is episode number 11, and there you are, Jessica. Hey.
Hey.
There you are.
Do I have this on right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really good to go. So I was just telling everybody that you were joining me today, but that's pretty much all I said. So Jessica and I met because it's a really random story, but I don't even know if you know part of this story, but I was at an event and was just telling this lady about what I do, and she was like, "Oh, do you know Jessica?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Well, you two should be friends, so I'm going to connect you." And
Awesome.
That's how Jessica and I met. I'm blanking on that lady's name, but I'm so glad.
Is it Claire?
Yes.
Was it Claire?
Claire Horton.
Claire Radcliffe? Yeah. Awesome. I love her.
Yeah. So I'm so glad she introduced us, and I'm so excited to introduce you to everybody in Music Biz Besties today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be a part of the group and kind of talk to everybody about what I do today.
Yeah. So do you want to just dive in and tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So again, my name is Jessica Horton. I'm the founder of Open Roads Highway Entertainment. I think the better question really is, what do I not do? It feels like it sometimes. But no, I specialize in making events, and I do that through my attention to detail, being able to be solutions based, and I have really the ability to use both sides of my brain. And I say that because I have the knowledge and experience from both the venue side that I've taken now doing more on the touring side. And really just being able to identify the areas of where we can save cost and be most cost efficient and be more effective with the events that we're doing. So really I take events that are small and try to make them into bigger. So my mind really just operates on looking at the big picture of things and really getting down to like the nitty gritty details. And, that's asking, does this make sense? Do things flow together? Is everything working together? What are our concerns? Are there pop-ups that are going to rise? Of course there is, always with events. So it's how do you, extinguish those and put them out? And really, are we reaching the common goal? For example, from the time that an artist and a tour get onto property and even the patrons of an event, it's thinking through all those logistical moving pieces and those details and communicating out information to people the most effective way that you can, so that when you've got an event, it's an enjoyable experience. Everybody knows what their roles are and the motions and the timings of everything. And I really just look at what I do as being like a big puzzle, and I'm just that missing piece of the puzzle who just kind of puts everything together, especially for tours and artists. It's that little piece of the puzzle that I really bring value to, and it's kind of my key thing just from having that venue inside. So really I tailor what I do though to fit my clients' needs. Again, I kind of look at the overall experience from both the artist side and the tour side, and I also look at being an attendee, what's their experience going to be like, and working through those details. And, for me, it's really about anticipating the needs and fulfilling the needs and meeting those needs.
Yeah. Well, and I've never worked with you on an event, but just knowing you as a friend, I'm sure that you bring your energy and excitement when you're doing these events too. So I would love, hopefully, one day to work with you on an event, because I'm sure you're fun to work with.
Absolutely. I think your energies and, your attitude's everything for sure. So.
Well, do you want to tell us about some of the events maybe you're working on or that you've done in the past that have been your favorite? And I know you mentioned you started out in the venue and then you did all this. So will you tell us maybe a little more of your journey of how you started? Because I know how you started in the venues, and now what you're doing is really different. So will you tell us that?
So originally I wasn't obviously in the music industry. Prior to it, like I said, before owning a company, I used to run Gwinnett Arena, which is about a 13,000 person arena just outside of Atlanta, where I'm from. And now I think it's known as Infinite Energy Center, but most of the tours know it as Gwinnett Arena. But from there, you know, really when an event was booked, it was passed along to me. And so I got to work with some of the top promoters, top tour managers, artist managers, which was great. You know, I really got to learn from the best in the business doing all types of shows. And, you know, if it was working with the promoter from AEG or Live Nation, you know, I worked with NS2, who's out here in Nashville, and Frank Productions, and even Majestic Productions and Outback. So I got to work with a variety of different people who were in the industry, which was an incredible experience for me, especially with all the different moving parts that go into a learning event. I got to really just have my hands on it. And when I really think back about how I got into the industry, you know, it was when I first started at Gwinnett Arena, and I remember we had 2 weeks rehearsals with Carrie Underwood, and it was for her Blown Away tour that we had, and I just really got the bug for it because you got to see all the moving pieces that go into putting on an actual tour, from laying down the truss, building the mother grid, to the different staging pieces, to all the different production stuff that goes inside the bowl that you're worried about. And you know, from that, it just hooked me. I loved it. I loved being a part of that exciting lifestyle and that exciting experience that you're providing for people. And, you know, it went even deeper into that. If I was working with the promoters and tour managers on filling all these different artists and artist writers and tour writer needs. So I got to figure out, how do you do 3 different meet and greets, and where to figure out where you put those, and entry points, and okay, what if our ticketing system goes down? How are we going to address that? To, you know, staffing front of house and back of house, and what's the appropriate numbers based off the attendees that are coming in, and, you know, where are you going to park 38 production trucks in the back lot that really doesn't have that much space? So for me, it was such a problem solving type job that just really fits my personality, and thinking quick on your feet. And, you know, while doing all those nitty gritty details, it was making sure that the show and the tour, or whatever event that we were doing, was meeting the venue requirements at the end of the day. So being able to just juggle those multiple things that were going on really is, you know, kind of, I guess, what got me into the industry, and really liking it, and just being able to think on my feet and think about what's best for the customer, but also meets the venue needs, you know, from that angle. But that's kind of how I kind of got more my background, at least from the venue side, and now leaning into kind of what I do now, you know, more on the touring side and working with artists directly, to either put on their shows, and whether that's in a small piece or a big piece for them.
That's so much fun. Well, and if you guys keep hearing my dog, I'm sorry, he's like over here pouting, but I'm not giving him attention right now. It's like going,
you know, but it's been cool. Like, from the music side, though, again, from a venue, you get to experience all those different moving pieces. But as far as like the music perspective, I've gotten to do incredible shows. Like, as far as Beyonce's sold out tour, we did her world tour. When we did Carrie Underwood's, I've done several of hers. I've done several of Eric Church's shows, and from anything from Dave Matthews to Muse to Ed Sheeran. Even though I've done Backstreet Boys, like, I've done all type of genres, which is awesome, just to say the experience, because each genre of music is just a different experience in itself, and everybody comes with their own way of doing things. So it's just adapting to those, you know.
So do you have like a favorite part of like an event day? Like, what's your favorite part? Like, while you're running around, what is always like, oh my gosh, I love doing this?
Well, I definitely would say, like, my favorite experience of a show is really just, I can remember specifically when I got the bug, okay? I remember we had Eric Churchin, and it was one of my first, like, sold out shows that I had. And this is just speaking back on venue days. And I remember standing on stage left to the side of it. And you know, this, the moment that everybody, they asked the fans to like, hey, get out your cell phones and put the lighters up.
Yeah.
Just seeing that and being on the other side of it, not as an attendee, but as somebody who like was a part of orchestrating it. It was just such an adrenaline rush. And
yeah,
I think for me, that's what like, that's just what fills my tank. I love serving others, and I love using my God-given talents to really just use them, of producing these events, whether it's something in a small venue or a big venue. Like, I just enjoy that side to it, and it really just fills my fire, you know?
Isn't it amazing when you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing?
Yes, I'm telling you, it's such a God thing too. And it's like, you know, I remember waking up one morning, just to kind of go into how I got where I am is,
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had asked John Merritt, who's a good friend with AEG, he's a promoter for them, and I asked him, I said, hey, what I'm doing, how is that different from what you do? He's like, Jess, you're doing a different event every day and having to problem solve those. You know, you go from a concert to a conference to a sporting event. We're just doing the same show, and just changing it and manipulating into a different venue. And so it kind of got me thinking. And so I had just prayed about it over the year of, God, like, if I'm supposed to be in the music industry or however I'm supposed to be, just like direct me to that path. And I just remember waking up one morning and just feeling like something in me. And I just felt God just saying, Jess, quit your job. Do what you love doing. Just as crazy as it sounds, take that leap of faith and I will open doors for you. And so I just did. And I don't know if you want me to lead into kind of how I started Open Roads.
Start that conversation. Yeah.
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 Okay. So kind of how I started Open Roads was originally with a partner. And it was just a passion of mine. And we had this idea and we just kind of put it into motion. And he took more of a role as a mentor for me and let me kind of run the day-to-days. And I don't know if you listen to podcasts, but I'm big on Sam Crowley's podcast that's called Everyday Saturday. And he touches on that topic a lot. And he talks about how the biggest struggle is when you're starting your own thing, first of all, showing up and just putting something into motion.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that time, I was working with a venue, like I said, and I had put out feelers of I was thinking about jumping into doing this, of getting more on taking my talents and doing it more in the music industry. And just like the overwhelming like support that I got just from friends in the industry were like, we've been telling you to do it, just do it. Like, we support you. So that was an awesome feeling. So it kind of just took that fear, if you call it, which everybody's asked, were you scared? I never was. Like, I'm such a go-getter in life. And so I just think it just fit my personality just to, you know, take a leap of faith. I have nothing to lose. I'm not married. I have no kids. So for me, it was like, just do it. What's the worst that could happen, you know?
Right.
And so, yeah, we ended up signing 2 artists that year. And we were basically kind of like a one-stop shop for those 2 artists. And we did everything from being their label to artist management to booking their own shows to going in and being a promoter and producing my own shows, which was awesome. So I was fulfilling all these, you know, desires and just areas of what I wanted to just kind of learn. And if I didn't know how to do something, I knew enough people in the industry who just like, I was able to call and they gave me guidance on it, which is just the beauty of, you know, this small industry of having people that you can call. And, you know, so 2016 was just such an incredible year for us and our teams that we had. And just the amount of knowledge really that I got to absorb through it all, because if I didn't know it, I had to figure it out, you know? And I just dove in head first on it. And it just taught me really a lot about how I wanted to shape my company, especially because we did all these things. So, you know, I was learning it. It was great. And we even released an album with one artist, and we released an EP with another whose EP ended up charting in iTunes and on Billboard, which is one of the most like mind-blowing and like exciting experiences I've just really ever been a part of. So it was great. You know, we wrapped the year touring with Jennifer Nettles, and you know, through all these experiences, it helped me really just zone in on more of like the event and tour management side, and just realizing this value and this key piece that I have of venue knowledge that I can bring to the table to help, you know, artists and events or projects with what they do. You know, it's opened doors for me that I do more than just touring, doing tours and working with artists. I'm able to do other events too.
Yeah. Well, in talking about starting your own thing, you and I recently talked about this, about how sometimes you start out doing everything and realize what you do and don't like, and then you just get better and better at what you do. And it sounds like what you're doing right now is you're going all out on what you love doing, and I love that.
Yeah. You know, I had a good friend in Atlanta who's with one of the radio stations, Eugene Brooks, a good friend of mine, and whether he knows or not, more of just a mentor to me too. But he always tells me, he's like, Jess, just keep sharpening your tools. Like, you know, you're great in this category, and just keep zoning in on that. So I think that's kind of what it's about, sharpening your tools.
I love that analogy. And let's see. I'm looking at some notes over here, so don't mind me looking over here.
It's okay.
So yeah, when you started Open Roads, so you work for events and you're working with all these people. What's it like to now work for yourself? And do you work by yourself? What's it like working for yourself in a smaller capacity, but on these huge events?
Yeah, you know, coming from the venue side now to working for myself, you know, I still work in big venues. Yeah. So I work in all sizes of venues. But now I really work directly either with the artist or with their team that they've already got built for, you know, the bigger artists that are out there. And I really just am now a part of putting in a part of the bigger process on it. So before, somebody would give me the pitch and I would make it happen, if that makes sense. But now I'm starting my own things. I'm a part of like the creating of the show process and those whole conversations and the logistical nitty gritty moving details of it, which I love. That's so me. And I'm the person kind of who just makes all the moving parts come together again. And it's allowed the artist to really just focus on their craft, and that craft is performing, you know, and I love that piece to it. And, you know, I love working for myself though. I'm like, we've touched on it. I'm doing something a little different. So how is that not exciting? Yeah. You know, just the opportunities that can come from it are just what excites me. It gets, you know, it fuels my fire of doing something a little bit different and seeing how it really benefits other people. Yeah. So yeah, you know, my face is tied with that venue. It's crazy to still think I'll run into people. Like the other week, somebody from FGL's camp introduced me to somebody with Relay Production up here. And as soon as the guy saw me, he's like, hey, you look familiar. And I was like, you probably recognize my face from Gwinnett Arena. He goes, that's it. He goes, I remember your energy and your personality. And so, you know, that's always like a positive thing, like hearing that you left a good mark on a venue, and also just on your clients and their overall experience, that they remember you for like the hard work that you do and your energy. So, you know, really working for myself now, and from working at an arena to myself, it's only helped me. You know, I bring this missing piece of venue information that's just so valuable now to tours on their whole planning process. And the saving money part, like who doesn't love saving money, right? You know? So it's just kind of looking at the contracts that they have, or even on the settlements, and do we really need to get charged for this? Well, do we really need that? So, you know, just being able to bring that to the table is just, it's a cool piece that I bring. So yeah.
So I don't know if everybody else knows this, but I know that you recently were living in Atlanta, like you said, and now you're in Nashville. So what does a typical day look like? How does being in Nashville play into what you do on a daily or weekly basis?
Yeah, so every day is different. Like this morning, like I was adding to my to-do list what I have coming up. Like I have a show that's about to be announced pretty soon. So, you know, working on that. And then I have this live interview with you. Later today, I've got 2 meetings lined up, and then I've got a proposal to get out later. And then later tonight, I'm going to a show. So it's like every day is different. Every week is different and every month is different. And I love that. I love the change to that.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite, like, do you love putting together proposals, or do you love, like, what just, like, about the day-to-day, what lights you up?
I think I just love interacting with people. I think you can tell I'm just such a people person. So I just love getting to know people. I like getting to invest and build those relationships for me. I think that, you know, I've got two great leaders as parents, and they have just taught me such key things about, you know, creating those relationships with your clients, because that's what this like industry and every industry is really all about, is the relationships that you build.
Yeah.
And I think back about clients that from the arena that I still work with today in some aspect or another, who I just know I know their family life. I know what's going on outside of it. It's doing the small things to build those relationships, like writing a handwritten thank you note to people, or finding out like what their favorite foods or drinks are. I remember having a client come in. I knew that they loved popcorn, so I got them a life-size bag of popcorn, and they remember me. Like, yeah. They're one of my best friends to this day, like, just because I got them a bag of popcorn, you know? So I just love the personal relationship side to it. You know, my mom's got an insurance company, just to touch on that, and hers is it was built off of 100% of referrals that she has, and she's just grown this empire. So to have that kind of like role models show that in their life, and it just streamline into mine, you know, I think that's what it's all about, is how you really just treat others and invest in on them.
Yeah. Sarah says, OMG, the giant bag of popcorn.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, it was a giant bag of popcorn, but you know what? The guy was like, he was so thrilled. It was awesome.
I'm sure.
It was a fun experience.
If somebody gave me a giant bag of Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets, then they would be my BFF forever.
It's funny because they sent me a picture of the popcorn that like lasted over a week long, you know, because they share it with all the tours and stuff like that. So it was funny.
Well, I remember when we first met, I also met your mom because you were here scouting out Nashville, checking it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember just meeting both you and your mom, and you both had this energy, and just, it was obvious that you care about what you do, but you also care about other people. So I just wanted to throw that in and say that, yes, I totally see where you got that from, and
yeah,
go mom.
I'm very thankful.
Yeah. So what's it been like being in Nashville since you've been here? How long has it been now, officially?
It's been since May. So crazy to think. It's not been that long, but it feels kind of like it has. It feels like home, which I love.
Yeah.
You know, I moved up here because I didn't want to miss out on an opportunity. That's just so me. I really feel like this is where I'm like led to be right now, of expanding my contacts and my network up here, because in Atlanta, I'm known down there, you know, so moving up here and not missing out on an opportunity. And, you know, what I love the most about this city is just, first of all, it's better than I anticipated. And I love that with Nashville, what sets it aside is people are genuinely for the people up here. And I just love that about it. I mean, it's so different from any city that I've visited, or that obviously Atlanta, where I'm from, and people really want to connect with you. And I think that's just like such a rare thing almost to find these days, because people, it feels like, is what can you do for me? You know, and I don't, you know, that's just not my personality, is I genuinely want to connect with somebody. So I love that about Nashville. And on top of it, it's such a vibrant city, you know, and that's just so my personality. So being here it's been really fun. I've gotten to have some great experiences and meet some really great people up here.
Yeah, well, I remember you'd only been here like a couple of weeks, and we had that meet up for the Music Biz conference.
Yeah.
And since then, we went to an event at the Skirmer Horn. So I love having you here so that we can just go to all these events whenever they're around. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I love bebopping around to different events. I love it.
Yes. So you talked about being in the venue, being in tour management. I know a lot of the people in this group want to be in tour management. So what kind of advice do you have for people who are wanting to go that route?
Yeah. I think as far as advice, and this kind of just is on any field, I think it's just identifying and knowing what you bring to the table, and just, what sets you aside, and just the more important thing is being realistic about like your skill set, being realistic about those, and okay, how can you capitalize those? How can you use those in your day to day, and find something that you're passionate about? The last thing you want to do is go to work and you're dreading what you're doing, and that you hear that, repetitively, but find that passion, run with it, God, lean on God, and he's going to open those doors for opportunities to come. You just have to be the person to step into the door. So, that's kind of what I've learned. And as far as college students go, I go back and talk to a couple colleges about what I do, because I originally worked in sports, then out at a venue, and then here. And I tell them, all the time, is volunteer, whether it's paid or an unpaid gig, just get out there. You really got to feel it. A lot of kids are coming out of college with no experience, feeling like, oh, I can get right into the field. And it's not like that. You've got to really put your hands on it to know what you want to do. And whether that's tour management, or in tour management being with artists specifically, or maybe doing some events like festivals specifically, or whether it's CMA awards, there's different avenues to it. So I think it's about finding what your niche is and what area of the industry that you want to work in. And you don't know that until you really just get your hands on it, and use those opportunities to find mentors and network with people, so that you can just be a sponge and like absorb as much info as you can.
Yeah.
As far as just people who are, also just some tips, more importantly, I think it's about how you treat people. I think how we treat each other matters. The impressions that you leave, your reputation, and doing those little things, like I said. And the biggest thing is your attitude's everything. I know I'm kind of known for my energy that I bring to it, because it makes the event so much more fun. Tell me the last time you bought something from a salesperson that had a bad attitude. You probably didn't buy from them, so like finding the people that you want to do work with. But yeah, I think it goes much deeper in building relationships, and that's just like in any industry that you do, though.
Yeah, I need to like cut out that segment of everything you just said and make it's like own standalone advice.
It's so true, though. Like I said, like I love listening to like motivational things. I think that for me, I start my day by doing that. I start my day by doing a devotion and really just getting your mindset right. And I think even as a business entrepreneur, when you think about like the advice to give those type of people, you're running your own business. So your mindset has to be like dead on. You got to wake up loving what you're doing. And so you got to feed that. You got to feed that energy, and you're going to go through ups and downs, but it's okay. If I start my morning with all these positive notes, like let it carry you throughout the day. Because and it's like building your tribe. Are you finding people that are working towards the with you? And find the people who specialize in, their different areas of what they do. So an area that you might be lacking, they might be good at. So that's just like building your team, like building your tribe. And good people know this. Good people want to help good people. Mm-hmm. And that's what I found out definitely from, working at the venue into what I do now, and just obviously the support that I've gotten and the doors that it's been able to open for me. So
that's so true. And I love how you say you start off your morning with all this motivational stuff. And I think I just want to add to that if you do something one day that you realize puts you in that mindset, to remember that and do it more often, because it's real. Doing these things really can get you in the mindset.
I'm telling you, the days that I miss it are the days I feel like my world is crumbling. And it sounds so silly, but it's true. Like I get up, if that means you got to get up an extra hour or 30 minutes early in the morning to do that and fit it in your day, do it. Because I'm telling you, the longevity and the benefits that you get from that, especially being an entrepreneur, it just speaks volumes. I remember I just went and saw my chiropractor the other day, and he said it the best. He said, Jess, he said, entrepreneurs are like gladiators. And I was like, I love that, because think about it, every day, like, you're a gladiator. So you got to like equip yourself with the right armor and mindset to be able to carry that throughout the day, because, you know, owning your own business, if there's people under you or other vendors or people that you're working with, like, you have to lead them. You have to lead by example.
Yeah. And even just having clients, like, your clients are leaning on you for whatever you're doing for them, and you got to lead them through.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So before I ask you my last question, if anybody on here has questions for Jess, put those in the comments. Let's see. I'll pull up my group over here so I can see what's happening. Perfect. So I see Sarah, Lauren, and Victoria, and Julie are all hanging out with us. So if any
hey guys
questions, let us know. Julie says, love this. So yeah, you kind of set it up perfect for me to make an announcement, but I was, so I think this is episode 11, the 11th Bestie Chat, and I told you the other week that I was going to go to doing them every other week, and
yeah,
what I've decided, I might like flip this around and show you guys. So this is my plan for the next like 5 weeks. And what I've decided is that I'm going to, Jess, you're going to be the end of season 1 of these Bestie Chats.
Awesome. I love it.
For the, yes, put it out with some energy, close the season. And I'm going to be sharing some different types of video content with you guys over the next few weeks. So I see we have a question coming in. So while you guys are hanging out with us, go to designingtherow.com and sign up there, and I will tell you how to get all this new types of video content. But Bestie Chats will come back. Season 2 will come back, and we will have more interviews. Here's my dog again. We will have more interviews and continue the fun, but I've got some more stuff planned for you guys in October. So stick with me through that, and we will bring back the Bestie Chats. But
awesome.
To everyone who's been watching and tuning in and asking questions, this has been so much fun for me, and I hope you guys have loved it. And Jess, and to all the people who have been on here as a guest, I've loved having you and chatting with you. And like you said, it's just all about building relationships, and I love that we can chat here, but also people can get something from our conversation in the group. So with that, let's look at Julie's question. Can you see that from your end, Jess? Are you there, Jess? Maybe. You froze up on me. Maybe she'll come back. Hopefully. I interned, I guess you could say, at a venue in college, and I would put up posters and do things like that, but they always needed an extra help for putting up posters or selling merch. So if you have a favorite venue in town, I would say just go to a show and ask the people that are working how you can help sell merch, or if you can ever help put up concert posters, because people always need that. Let's see. Uh-oh. Let's see where she went. On my laptop, I look like sideways and really squished, so hopefully that's not the case for you guys. Let's see if I can get her back in. Oh, she just texted me and said it's because a call came through. Let's see if I can get her back. And then Julie, your other question about artist management. Yeah, totally reach out to your favorite artist's management and ask them if you can put up posters for them or ask them if you can be on their street team. I was in artist management for about 5 years and we were always looking for people to be on our street team, but we never had time to actually reach out to people and ask them to be on our street team. So, oh, let's see. We'll see if we can get Jess back. So yes, Julie, people need the help. If you reach out, I bet you will have luck. Let's see what Jess has to say. Uh-oh.
Oops. I'm sorry, guys. I got kicked off. I had an incoming call coming in, so sorry about that.
That's okay. Are you like, you look sideways on my screen. Let me see if I,
Oh, should I turn it the other way?
well, now you're upside down, so I'd say
Oh.
back.
Okay, there we go. I put it just back the way I had it. So sorry about that. I didn't know if y'all had questions that you wanted to keep streamlining or anything like that.
Yeah, so did you see Julie's question?
I did not. Julie, are you still there?
She was asking about, I got the question here. She says, how do you go about volunteering for shows through the artist management or venues?
Yeah, I think it's reaching out to artist managers and even reaching out to some of the smaller artists, you know. They've all got websites, they've all got Instagrams, reaching out to them, you know.
Yeah.
If they don't answer, just keep being, I think the biggest thing is be persistent when you reach out to people and trying to follow up with them.
Yeah.
As far as getting experience from different events, I mean, venues are always looking for it. You can, on the music side, yeah, go directly to them.
Yeah.
You know, go to the management companies, maybe even go to the production companies.
Yeah. Or record labels if they're on a label. I know that often record labels have street teams. So,
yeah,
Julie, try that out and let us know how it goes.
Please do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if y'all ever have questions for me, feel free to reach out. I love talking with people. I love grabbing coffee and networking. My email is jhorton, HORTON, @openroads. That's RODS.US. So feel free to email me. Feel free to go to my personal Instagram page, which is _Jessica Horton _ or reach out on my business Instagram page, which is Open Roads Highway. That's abbreviated HWYENT. Okay.
Perfect. That was my last question for you. So everything's looking a little crazy on my end. So I think it's time we call this. That's okay. I'm not really sure what's happening, but like on my laptop, I'm sideways and like stretched.
And I'm
over here, it's different. So
well, thanks so much for having me. And thanks for letting me be a part of this series.
Of course. And thank you for sharing all of your knowledge and just your story. I love hearing everybody's story because I think we can all learn from one another. And
we can,
yeah. So everybody reach out to Jess, go follow her on Instagram. And if you have any more questions, just drop them in the comments and we will be here to answer this for you guys. So thank you, everyone. Bye, Jess.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.
You too.